In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a one-page business plan, give you a free online tool to do it, and walk you guys through everything. Let's roll. What's going on, ladies and gents? This is Kevin from the Startup Hustle, and today we're talking about how you can create a one-page business plan. And before we get into it, I want to just tell you about why you might want to consider doing it this way rather than creating a 30-page business plan like maybe you're more typically used to doing. And really, guys, the reason is because when you're starting a business, you make a lot of assumptions. A lot of the stuff you put down is not validated. It's really just in our imagination. There's no proof. It might be an educated hypothesis. You might be, might be an educated guess based on some stuff you've seen. But the reality is maybe even 50% or even more of these assumptions will end up being wrong or will need to be tweaked. So for you to go out and make this huge business plan with all these projections and all of these things based in very little fact, it's almost a worthless exercise. Especially in your first year, the amount your business is going to change and evolve. You don't want to be spending 20% of your time rewriting business plans for the sake of it just to try and keep this 20-page monster document current. It's not just going to happen. So, guys, in contrast, if you can create a one-page business plan that captures the key elements in your business that you need to succeed, and by keeping it one page, you're going to be able to really iterate on that and pivot as needed and update that constantly without having a huge mess of files and pages and things of that nature. This is the business model canvas, and basically it's a one-page business plan. It just helps you get the key things you need to record and think about in place in order to run with your business. And as just want to reiterate, guys, the important thing is to run with your business, test your assumptions, and just move with it, because as I said, a lot of stuff will change. So what I'm showing you right now is actually the print version. So you can get the PDF version right here from this link. I put the link in the description, and you guys can print it out and write on it if you prefer something a little bit more tactile. You can even actually draw this on a whiteboard. Just copy out all the sections and put post-it notes on it. That's another method people really like. And so that's the first option if you guys want to use this. But what I'm going to be showing you is another version, which is actually online. So just go to Canvanizer.com, click on create your own canvas, click business, and there's actually a few different options, but we're using the business model canvas. So go in here and enter all your info and just hit start canvanizing, and that will create something like this for you. So what I'm doing here, guys, is I've come up with a super easy business for us. So what this is let's say we are making a new burger joint, right? So just a simple example for everyone to understand. So let's talk about the canvas, and I'm going to walk you through all the sections and just give you a really quick idea of how you would use this thing. This is going to evolve as you go. It's not something that's meant to be static, and that's the beauty of this canvas. You can change it as you go. So don't worry about right now making it the most perfect and most defined business plan on the planet. Just think through the basics. If you even just get your first pass down, you're already miles ahead. And what's going to be really interesting is if you go to Canvas history, you'll be able to see how your plan actually evolved, and you'll be able to see all the changes you made, which is pretty cool. Like 6 months from now, you can see how much your business has changed. So I'm going to walk you guys through how to use this and what kind of all the sections mean. So okay, so we're starting this new burger joint, right? And so the first thing we want to figure out is our customer segments. Like, who are we selling this to? So say we're like, we're looking for we want to make a burger joint for hipsters, because those guys will spend anything just hipsters, just to get a little bit of recognition. So they'll spend anything. So we think that, hey, this is a good market, because they might be willing to spend a little bit more, and let's do some maybe a little bit higher end burgers. So here you can really easily create a note. You can just double click and start typing whatever you like, and if I did this, you guys can see, but I've pre-populated this sheet just for the sake of time. And so you can really add notes into this, or to really help you to help you with your plan. So what I've put here is I've put hipsters, and I've just put a bit about this profile. I've just put one line for now. So, we're saying that they're looking for artisan, unique food experiences. So, we could probably add a couple of other things if you think that, maybe they have high income or some other, demographic details if you wanted to based on your audience. But, for now, guys, even just put just this part right here, hipsters, or whoever you're targeting. So, the next aspect is, let's go over to value proposition. So it's kind of like, okay, we've identified who we're making this for, but what are we making for them? So, what is the thing that we're doing? What is the value we're providing to these people? So what we're making is unique artisan hamburgers, and probably some other food, but unique artisan hamburgers. And what else are we giving them that's of value? Well, maybe they can choose their toppings ahead of time on the website. So it's kind of like, hey, this is the audience, and what is the value I'm providing to them that they'll come here? That's the most important part out of all of this, right? So it's who's your customer and what can you do for them? Remember, guys, starting a business is about serving someone else. It's not about stroking your ego or, doing what you think will be cool, because at the end of the day, that just won't work. If it's not meeting the needs of someone else, then it's just a hobby for you or something. So remember, guys, that's really important. It's all about the customer. It's all about the audience you're serving, and that's how you become successful. So so that's the value proposition. We handle the customer segments, and some of the other stuff's a little bit more straightforward. So let's talk about channels. So it's like, hey, how are you going to get this stuff to your customers? So maybe we get a restaurant in a plaza. And that's, so we get a space in a plaza, or maybe we have a booth in a market, something of this. So where are you maybe it's a kiosk, how are you distributing this food, when it comes to this burger joint? So for us, it's a restaurant in a plaza. And maybe another one would be, another distribution channel for you is a website. Like maybe they can order online or something, and so that's another way they can interact with you and get your food. So maybe these are the ones you choose to start. Then the next thing is, what are the customer relationships you really need? And I think for something like this, simple in nature, I think you just need personal relationships just to kind of build up a relationship with your patrons so that they keep coming back. So this one's a little bit more straightforward, and there's many other different kinds of relationships you can have with your customers. So the next thing is revenue streams. So how are you going to get paid? All right, so now we're figuring out, hey, okay, we're doing this, we're selling these burgers to these hipsters, and this is how we're going to get them the food. This is how we're going to distribute it. We know we need to have some personal relationships with these guys for, just to have, because that's the nature of the service business. How are we getting paid? Well, we have, maybe the obvious one is food sales. So when you sell food, you're going to get paid. So that's the obvious one. And then you start thinking about, hey, what other revenue streams can I introduce? Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to allow tips. So that's another way you can make money. Now, this is the first example I can give you of how this app can, how this canvas can evolve. Maybe later you say, what are some other ways I can make money? What if I start selling swag and merch? By the way, this is the brainstorming space. I put some stuff down there ahead of time, but like you start selling swag and merch. Say maybe start selling t-shirts for your brand. Maybe it catches on. Maybe you sell water bottles or something, right? So maybe this burger joint expands into selling special coffees, right? So this is just an example of how this can evolve as you go, right? So, and to get you really thinking about it. So, but let's keep it simple for now, guys. So, we have the burger joint. We just have food sales and tips. Then we want to talk about what is the cost structure here. And, the order you go in here, different people have different orders. There is an order that's prescribed by the maker of the strategizer. But, we're going through it in any, you can really go through it, guys, in any order. Maybe just go through the ones that are the most obvious for you and the easiest for you to fill in first, and then try and tackle the harder ones. So let's talk about the cost structure. So well, you're gonna have salaries for the people that work for you. Maybe if in the start, maybe it's just you, so maybe you have to pay yourself a really meager salary. So there's salaries. Then there's marketing costs like flyers or however you're gonna be doing some distribution, ingredients, of course, for all the food you're gonna be preparing, the equipment you'll need, legal and admin costs, any lease costs, like in terms of how much space, your cost for your overheads in terms of leasing. So really there's a lot that goes into cost structure. So what I would recommend to you guys is not try and nickel and dime yourself, try to figure out, I have a website, so I need $7 for hosting every month. Like, don't get so granular, right? Like, try and write out what are the major cost components, right? So obviously there's the rent for us, we need the equipment, we need salaries, ingredients, and maybe there is a significant amount of printing and marketing costs, maybe making flyers or something, and legal administrative costs, overhead, stuff like that. So just think through, hey, what are the major cost components? And from there, let's now talk about the key activities. And sometimes doing the key activities can help you fill in your cost structure and might make it easier. So what the key activities are basically, well, what are the key things I need to do in this business to be successful? So, you have this customer segment and this value proposition, that you're promising them. Well, what are the things that you need to do in order to deliver on this value proposition? Well, clearly you have to make food, right? So make good food. And make artisan food. So in our case here, then of course you need to be doing a lot of marketing to get the word out there and to promote your business. And customer service, right? You really need to have, if we're selling hamburgers, and they're high cost. Well, you want to have a good customer service experience so people keep coming back and referring their friends. So those are just a couple of really obvious key activities. Your business will obviously have other ones. I challenge you to think about what are the key things. Again, not the granular things, if there's 10 things you need to do, what are the 3 that are the most pivotal, right? I don't want to put numbers against it, but just to give you guys an idea for thinking. So key activities. Then the next thing you want to talk about is, well, okay, so in terms of continuing on this delivery path, well, who do I need from a supplier perspective? What partners do I need to enable this? So maybe let's just say we're not baking our own bread in-house. Then, we're going to need a baker or a bread supplier. Say we're not growing and slaughtering and stuff our own cows and all that. Well, we're obviously going to need a meat supplier. So, and so on and so forth. Again, write out just the major partners you would need, right? In order to execute on this business. So, right here, you can already know that, if you have a business that is very, very partner driven, then, this is something that you need to focus more time on. If you're selling something online and it's delivering someone to, say you start an online business and you're shipping stuff. Well, one of your key partners would be like FedEx or UPS or something, where your success is so tied to your partners, and this is the same situation here. So just wanted to give you guys an online example as well, how that could work. And if you're running an app or something, you might have an hosting partner if you're doing a digital type business, high tech business. So number of different examples here, but just in keeping it with the food example, bread supplier, meat supplier. And so we touched on that, and then along the same vein, well, what are the key resources, even if you had the partners and you would, in order to deliver on these activities and to make use of the stuff these partners are doing, right? So, well, you're going to need cooks to make the food, right? The hamburgers or fries or whatever we're serving. Then you need people to be cashiers or servers to give them the food. And, of course, you're going to need the ingredients to make the stuff. So, and again, not being granular, 1,000 feet up, that's what we want to think about. So essentially, guys, what you're going to do is you're going to just keep on, make this first version. If you have a business partner, what I like about the Strategizer app is, or website here, is you can share it and you can invite, and you guys can both work on it. So keep iterating on this. As you learn, you will start to change it. Like, so say for example, after running our business for a little while, maybe we realize hipsters isn't the best market for us. maybe a low-cost strategy is something that's better. So we realize, hey, you know what? Let's change it from hipsters to students. We learned this by running our business, by iterating, by learning that, hey, this isn't the market for us. So now, because we changed our customer segment, we can't sell, students looking for cheap food aren't going to buy fancy artesian hamburgers, and they probably don't want to choose toppings on a website anymore. It's probably too much. So, these students are going to be looking for quick value pricing type food options. So yeah, so again, this is an example of a very hard pivot in your business, and a lot of this stuff will now change because of that. But what I would recommend is that you guys actually get the book. If you want, you can look up, there's tons of stuff online. You can Google the Business Model Canvas by Strategizer, and there's tons of stuff online. But if you guys want to read the official book, you can get the book from Amazon. It's called Business Model Generation by the guy who wrote it, Alex Osterwalder. And I recommend you get it, and he explains each of the sections and sort of how to think about them and the order you should do them in his opinion. And I'll put a link to it in the description. So that's it, guys. That's how easy it is to make a one-page business plan that you can constantly evolve and iterate on as you learn more about your business and you continue to grow. So if you guys found this video helpful, I encourage you to share it with your business partner or your friends, anyone else who's trying to start a business or has started a business and is looking to think about the next move in your business. Encourage you guys to subscribe. We bring you guys new videos every week. And as we say here, let's execute our ideas and live our dreams.